We have a new serial killer to discuss. On February 26, 2025, Chicago police announced charges against a 21-year-old Chicago man named Antonio Reyes, who is accused of the murders of 6 people and the attempted murders of 4 others.
Tonight, Chicago police are investigating whether a suspected serial killer could be connected to even more killings and shootings.
The victims from the 2020 crime spree were all seemingly random.
Let's get spooky. Hey, spooky people. It's your best friend Kenny here. And before we get to today's video, I want to make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. Make sure you are subscribed to The Spooky Lawyer. Make sure that you like and share this video. Just go ahead and share this video with the person who's next to you right now. They're probably looking over your shoulder to see what you're doing on your phone or your laptop or your tablet, and just say, hey, go check out this video from Kenny. I'd appreciate it. On Wednesday, February 26, Chicago police have announced that they have caught what they believe to be a serial killer. Antonio Reyes is a 21-year-old Chicago man, and he has been accused of a string of murders across the city of Chicago. Reyes was only 16 at the time that his alleged crimes began, and he's now facing 6 murder charges and 4 attempted murder charges. So this guy is linked to the murders of 6 people and the attempted murders of 4 people. So he has 10 victims. Reyes has been in custody since December 2020 for the alleged murder of Luis Davalos Garcia. However, he was charged with 5 more murder charges and 4 attempted murder charges more recently. Between March and November 2020, Reyes allegedly was responsible for a wave of violence that terrorized Chicago's Southwest Side. Many of the attacks were completely random. However, one of the attacks, 16-year-old Damian Duran, was allegedly shot and killed by Reyes during a drug deal. The randomness of the attacks is particularly chilling. Victims were targeted while going about their daily lives, buying a soda at a gas station, sitting in a parked car, or taking their family to buy a puppy. Reyes is accused of chilling arbitrary violence against people in his community. Now, the worst part of this is a 31-year-old man, Jose Martinez, was shot and killed while taking his 3 young children to buy a puppy. Reyes has also been charged with the attempted murder of those children, who were between the ages of 3 and 9 years old. Reyes also allegedly flashed a gang sign during or after this murder. However, Reyes' gang affiliation does not seem to be related to this murder. Reyes' victims are Francisco Magana, who is 31 years old, on March 2nd, 2020. Claudio Cosia, who was 21 years old, on April 5th, 2020. Damian Duran, on May 1st, 2020. He was 16 years old. Luis Davalos Garcia, who was 26, on June 24th, 2020. Jose Martinez, who was 31, on November 8th, 2020. And Justin Gonzalez, who was 20, on November 9th, 2020. Reyes had no connection to most of these victims. Prosecutors are describing the killings as serial murders and have highlighted the seemingly random nature of the attacks. Reyes was first arrested in December 2020 in connection with the murder of Luis Davalos Garcia. He was held without bail for this charge, unsurprisingly. However, it took nearly 4.5 years for him to be charged with the other 5 murders and attempted murders as they investigated. A key breakthrough in the investigation came when detectives were able to link shell casings from a .40 caliber handgun recovered in 2020 to several of the crime scenes. Investigators were also able to use Reyes' fairly significant social media footprint to connect him to these murders. Surveillance video and tips from the community have also played a crucial role in charging Reyes with these murders. The victims of Antonio Reyes were all young men who had their lives ahead of them. Cook County State's Attorney Eileen O'Neill Burke said,
It's sad. It's sad to think about a 17-year-old committing serial murders over the course of 9 months. How many people were taken?
Shootings appear to be completely random.
One victim was killed when he went to the gas station to buy a pop early one evening. Another victim was sitting in a parked car with a friend on Palm Sunday afternoon when he was shot and killed. Another victim's only crime was taking his family to buy a new puppy one afternoon. He was shot and severely wounded in front of his 3 children, and he succumbed to his injuries months later. None of these people had ever met Antonio Reyes before, and there's no reason to suspect Antonio Reyes had any reason to target them. But that's exactly what he did.
Luis Davalos Garcia was described by his father as a hardworking young man who had a gift to talk to people and become friends instantly. Damian Duran's mother, Marlon Rangel, said she was relieved at the charges against Reyes.
The mother of 16-year-old Damian Duran breathed a huge sigh of relief.
These young men did not deserve this.
In a disturbing detail, Rangel revealed that she had Snapchat conversations with Reyes after her son's murder.
And I spoke with him that day he killed my son.
He came to the house.
No, through Snapchat.
Rangel said she witnessed her son get into a car with Reyes that day. She recalled coming out to ask Damian who he was getting in a car with, and when his son didn't come home that night, she communicated with Reyes online.
I told him, where's my son? You Ubered my son to a location, and now you don't know where my son is?
After a back-and-forth chat, she says she was floored by Reyes' final response.
He said, that's why your son is rotting in hell.
Rangel said that she will never forget the day the police came to the door telling her that her son had been shot to death. Authorities have not released a definitive motive for the killings. Some have suggested that Reyes may have been motivated by a desire for thrills. State's Attorney O'Neill Burke stated that it appears he was just doing it for the thrill of it, to murder people repeatedly. Reyes was only 16 at the age of the alleged crimes, and this is a significant aspect of the case. It raises questions about his adolescent impulsivity, his lack of maturity, and underdeveloped decision-making skills in his alleged actions. The question becomes, how do you hold a 16-year-old serial killer accountable? How do you consider the developmental factors that may have contributed to his alleged behavior, especially because he's likely to spend the rest of his life behind bars? Reyes didn't have a particular modus operandi. It seemingly involved random attacks on strangers, often in public places. He appeared to have no specific victim profile, and the randomness of his attacks heightened the fear and anxiety in the community. There's been some suggestion that Reyes had some connection to the Latin Kings gang, but there's no evidence that suggests that the killings were related to gang activity. Reyes hasn't stopped terrorizing people, and he's been terrorizing people stuck in jail with him, according to court records and officials. While Reyes was already in jail, he allegedly attempted to kill his cellmate with a shank. He supposedly went after the man at around 2 a.m. on November 23rd, 2022, stabbing him with a short, improvised blade. Cook County court records state that Reyes made the shiv he used on his cellmate from a construction nail. Prosecutors have charged him with 3 crimes for the jailhouse attack: attempted murder, use of a deadly weapon, and aggravated battery with great bodily harm. It's unclear if there have been any special protocols that the Cook County Sheriff have adopted to keep other inmates safe from Reyes, although typically an inmate who attempts to kill a cellmate does not receive a new cellmate, which makes sense, right? Reyes has also been accused of intimidating and harassing guards. In October 24, he attempted to intimidate a sheriff's deputy, according to court records, by exposing his genitals to a deputy for the purpose or effect of intimidating, harassing, or threatening the female deputy. Reyes' conduct alarmed and disturbed the deputy. Well, of course it did, and provoked a breach of the peace. In that instance, he was charged with public indecency and a lewd sexual display in a penal institution. Now, this case is crazy. I mean, this is a guy who was 16 years old who started off on a serial killing spree. And now he's only in his early 20s, and he's been charged with all these crimes. And by the way, they are looking in to see if he is connected to any other crimes. And based on the random way he approached and chose his victims, it's certainly possible that there are more victims out there. So we shall see. I will keep covering this as more details come out. But this is just an absolutely disturbing case. And, the arrest of Reyes may bring some measure of closure to the victims' families and the community. The sheer amount of death and violence that he impacted is a level of trauma that's going to haunt lots of people for a very long time. Go ahead and make sure that you are subscribed to this YouTube channel, The Spooky Lawyer. Make sure that you are following me on Blue Sky and TikTok. My username is AKBruce. Make sure that you are following me on Twitter as well. My username is AKBruce there. If there is a spooky or disturbing story you would like me to cover, send me an email. My email address is thespookyLawyer@gmail.com. There is a super thanks button in the YouTube toolbar. If you would like to make a donation to the channel, click it. go ahead and make a donation. I would appreciate it. Any money that this channel makes will go back into the channel so we can make better, more interesting videos. I appreciate you watching my videos. I appreciate you sharing my videos and liking my videos and supporting me as this channel has grown. I really do appreciate it. And I, of course, ask that you stay spooky.